You're listening to the podcast Device Fire, episode 99 for the week of February 17th, 2013. Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of the podcast Device and Fire, the longest running podcast dedicated to George R. R. Martin's Song of Ice and Fire saga, occasionally the HBO Game of Thrones TV show, and currently George R. R. Martin's Hedge Knight series of novellas. So this is almost our 100th episode, and we are finally doing a long-awaited episode. I say long-awaited, but I think like 4 people have been waiting for this. We are covering the 3rd novella in the Hedge Knight series of short stories by George R. R. Martin, and that is going to be The Mystery Knight for today's episode. And as always, this is Mimi.
This is Ashley.
This is Amin.
And this is Kyle.
We are the full crew again. This is nice.
This is amazing. Two episodes in a row, guys. We're on a roll.
What, 2 episodes in a row?
Well, if it counts to be okay.
Oh, no, actually.
Oh, no, never mind. I was mistaken.
I was like, I haven't talked to all of you guys since the Christmas Felix episodes. So
well, everyone is listening to
episodes
be okay now, too, right? So that's what
Oh, that's right. That's right. We did.
Firefly.
I forgot. I haven't talked about Song of Ice and Fire with you guys in a while. Last time it was all about Nathan Fillion. So
Yes, that's why I got confused.
yeah, quick plug therein for the Bastards of Kingsgrave podcast if you haven't listened to it yet. It's a bunch of nerds talking about anime. You might be familiar with said nerds.
Amin is massing an army over there. Kingsgrave.
He's going to break off one day. He's going to quit the podcast and devote all his time to Bastards of Kingsgrave.
Oh, you gotta keep your options open, you know? You never know.
I know.
I mean, playing both fields for now.
Mimi's gonna die, and on her deathbed, she's gonna legitimize Amin and give him her sword.
We'll never do that ever. What I will do is I will retroactively legitimize like King Tommen and Chris and all the people who've quit, so that Amin feels extra bad about it.
We'll have a major civil war at that point. That'll be interesting.
The podcast faction,
Which makes the Mystery Knight really appropriate
Yeah,
topic. So.
maybe that makes Amin Bloodraven then.
Absolutely. So the Mystery Knight, that was published in 2010. So while we were podcasting, this novella dropped, and I remember we talked about it at the time to see which one of us had read it, and I actually just instead of buying the Warriors anthology, I just sat in Barnes & Noble and just read it all.
It took her 2 seconds. You
It took 2
ferocious
seconds.
reader, you.
But yeah, it came out as part of the Warriors anthology, and George R. R. Martin was the editor, a bunch of fiction by famous sci-fi fantasy authors, and it's long. Like, I think it's the longest novella of the 3, and I think at the time that it came out, were we particularly excited about this one?
I was, and I think I was the only one.
Yeah. At the time, my opinion has approved of it since then. I'll say it that way.
Can you name something you haven't been excited about?
Give me some thought on that one. Give me some time. I'll come back to you on that one.
Really enthusiastic.
No, I remember it coming out, and I remember I wanted to do an episode, and everybody was like, "No, nobody wants to talk to that piece of crap." and I was just like, "Well, why?" And I don't know. I didn't get it. Why were you guys so down on this one at the time?
I think because I did not understand what was happening in this novella, because I'm strongly mentally disabled, and I read it and I was like, I don't get it. And I was so upset that I didn't understand what the plot was that I didn't go back to it. It just didn't resonate with me the way that Hedge Knight and Sworn Sword did. I mean, Hedge Knight was very, very straightforward, almost slightly predictable in its plot line, and Sworn Sword was a little more involved, but it followed the same sort of structure. And with Mystery Knight, I felt like instead of it being like a Dunk-centric story where Dunk is the hero, I feel like Mystery Knight is sort of like a story outside of Dunk and Egg's adventures. It just feels like they stumbled into something that they weren't in direct control of the way that they were in the Hedge Knight and the Sworn Sword. So I think it just didn't read as easily to me as the first 2.
I'm wondering if you could go around and give lemon cake scores for the 3 stories out of 5 for each.
That's a good idea. Do you want to start, Amin?
Sure. I will go 5 out of 5 for the first one. That was always my favorite, The Hedge Knight. You're right. It's kind of like almost a stereotypical story, but I thought it was really well done. Sworn Sword, I gave 4 out of 5, and I still give 4 out of 5. It was still good. It was a darker story, I found, focused on a smaller group of characters. And then Mystery Knight, when I first read it, I gave it 3.5 out of 5 for a few reasons. I felt that some aspects was unbelievable. But now reading it again, I've bumped it up to 4.5 out of 5 because of the connections to Dance with Dragons, which we'll get into. And just it's a lot better on a second read, I think. So that's my rating of it.
I think mine is very similar to yours. I mean, that Hedge Knight is the strongest of the three. I think Sword is actually a bit weaker on a read through of all three again, just because I feel like it has the same theme as a Hedge Knight and focusing on like Dunk's chivalry and his growth of character, but it was a really interesting backstory about the Blackfire Rebellion, and the more we find out about that, the better it is. I think Mystery Knight has the most information about the Blackfire Rebellion and is particularly strong on that point, but I don't know that I would bump it up to a 4.
I've only for the first two I just have the comic book version, and then
5 out of 5 for
I've
Dunk's
read.
package in both of those.
But yeah, no, the first one I'll give a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it and was really impressed. And 3 out of 5 for the second one. I didn't really like it that much. I don't like it when I like more characters, like and more scope of the world rather than a single isolated kind of incident area.
Yeah, and Bennis is gross as hell, so remove 1 lemon cake for Bennis alone.
Mystery Night, I guess I'll give 4 because I do enjoy the Targ history when I can get it because it confuses me. So when I do get more clarification on it, it really helps me, and I enjoy that.
I'd say I'd probably give him 4 across the board. I thought they were all wonderful stories. Yes, Mr. Optimistic here.
That enthusiasm.
No, I really enjoyed all of them, and all of them put a smile on my face, like everything else in this world. And no, they were. I can't think of anything bad. I just really enjoyed all of them. And I don't know why they don't call them the Blackfire Tales, because I feel like that's what they're all about. We're learning so much about the Blackfire Rebellion and all that. And the same with Ashley, where the Targaryen history just throws me for a loop. And when I get more of it, I can sit down and read, something closer to the actual events. I find it pretty fascinating. And personally, I don't mind the Mystery Knight how they just kind of stumbled on something, because there are so many tales, heroes' tales or whatnot, where you just that happens. You stumble across something, and you're not always the proactive one, but sometimes you're the reactive one. And I don't have a problem reading that in the third one.
No, I thought that was interesting. It was just a bit of a breakaway from what I expected the Dunk and Egg novels to be, and I think it was interesting that I did that, because it's not believable if Dunk and Egg were centric to like every big historical event that they stumbled across, right? But it's interesting that they were tangential to them, especially one like this false rebellion or whatever it was.
I didn't really like Fireball's Bastard getting so far in the tournament, even though it kind of reflects Dunk himself in the first one. But there's only so many times you can get that. I just didn't believe that Fireball's Bastard was so good at this, with the amount of training that he had, that he kept moving basically to the final, right? That I found a little annoying, but that's just a minor perk.
Minor quibble.
Yeah.
Just jumping right into it here.
Yeah. We gotta start from the beginning. Gotta finish the foreplay first. I mean, you're jumping right to Fireball.
I think Fireball has to be Roz's son now. Hates him so much.
Yeah, because that works. Because you give birth to your son
like
80 years before.
Roz's grandfather or something.
No, Roz is the great granddaughter of Penny Jenny.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they have the red hair, right?
Oh man.
So wait, Ashley, you've never read the first two?
Not in the actual book form.
Oh,
Well, Kyle,
God.
have you seen the graphic novels though? Because they're pretty much word for word.
I have a giant poster of Dunk's package right on my wall here.
Yeah, don't we all though? Isn't that the
That's like saying like watching Game of Thrones is the same as reading the books. It's
No,
not. You're
no.
missing
I enjoyed the experience of actually reading the Mystery Knight, and it was a better experience. So
Would like to clarify that Amin is completely wrong, and that is not the same at all.
Oh, really?
I have read all of them. So I've read them, and I've read the graphic novels.
Is there a third graphic novel though? I haven't seen that.
I'm sure it will happen.
But I don't think it has yet. So.
No, it's not. There's not one yet, but I'm sure there's.
Well, we'll get started.
And they are wonderfully done. They are very accurate.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting how they figure out how to do the adaptation with all the back history. A lot of big bubbles.
Just have giant pictures of family trees. Awesome.
Okay.
So where should we start, guys?
We should start from the beginning of the novella.
Doesn't make sense.
No, fuck that. Start at the end, work our way backwards.
Start with Fireball.
Start with Fireball.
So, Mimi, where does it start?
It starts as Dunk and Egg are leaving Stony Sept, I believe. And they are actually trying to go take service up north to help fight off the Greyjoys.
Yep.
I believe.
Yes.
This is interesting. They didn't end up going there. But I thought this was interesting because when I was reading Mystery Night, I felt like it started almost the same way Sworn Sword did, as Dunk and Egg just come across a dude, like a dead person, because they did in Sworn Sword as well.
Oh.
In Sworn Sword, it was someone who'd been starved to death in a cage, and in here, it's the traitor's head impaled on an iron spike. And it turns out to be someone that they actually had come across. It was a Septon that they had heard preaching against Lord Bloodraven. So very ominous beginning.
I think it's part of Egg's education, basically, right? He's seeing how the lords are treating their people.
Yeah. I think the weird thing about Westeros is every time I read, especially Dunk and Egg, I feel like it's living in Texas and seeing roadkill every day. Everywhere. You're oh, roadkill. It's momentarily oh, that sucks. I think that's the way with corpses and people on spikes and in cages. You just walk across the landscape of Westeros and just dead people everywhere. It's Westeros roadkill.
It does seem that way.
You're oh, another traitor.
Yeah, his eyes are plucked out, and
I'm sure he deserved it.
Momentarily makes me not want to finish my lemon cake, but just
throw it on the ground. That's what I do.
What was this guy saying? Was he talking about Bloodraven, I think? Or let's see.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was basically saying that Bloodraven's hands are red with blood of his family, his brother's blood, the blood of his young nephews. And because Good King Daeron passed away and his sons, I think, and also obviously Baelor Breakspear died in Hedge Knight. So the Septon is just kind of bitching and moaning about all the great Targaryens are gone and this half-blood is hanging out.
Oh, here's an interesting part. A shadow came at his command to strangle the sons. That's what he was talking about.
That is an interesting line there. That shadow baby.
So Bloodraven and R'hllor?
Not to get too far ahead, but there are some ideas about that he may have. Although he seems to be on the other side of R'hllor. That's the thing. He seems to be on the other side of Melisandre.
It's on the other side.
Essentially, they're just saying that, he's saying that Bloodraven is essentially controlling King Aerys and assuming direct control.
It's a puppet master.
Interesting.
Mass Effect reference just kind of went over everyone's heads. I apologize.
I didn't even hear what you said, so it's okay.
Cool. So yeah, anyway, he's just hanging out preaching against Bloodraven. Sounds like a stupid thing to do when Bloodraven is fabled for having 1,000 eyes.
And one.
A spy network.
There we go. He was Varys before Varys came around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you think Varys is his great grandson? Or?
Not so much, but
he shaves his head because he's a Targ.
They're distantly related. That could be true. Because Varys is Blackfire.
And they just talk about how he's a student of the dark arts who could change his face. That faceless man.
Who, Bloodraven can?
Yeah.
Now, this guy's badass. He just has his foot in every magic.
So he's a faceless man. He's a red priest. He's
a warg.
He's Varys 1.0. He's a warg. Oh God.
He can turn into a crow.
My dog. So
he's maxed out all his specs, the different.
Jesus.
Turn into a mist. He can vaporize himself.
Wow.
Magic, Bloodraven.
Crazy.
Well, before we go too far, we gotta just mention the Dunk's memory of when he made the girls kiss his head. Remember that?
Do tell, do tell.
Oh.
What? I don't know what's happening.
When Dunk was talking about how they had a severed head and they used that to terrorize the girls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They chase him with it.
Again, that just sort of desensitized attitudes towards is really interesting.
Well, it really is kind of like roadkill when your brother would find something dead and poke with a stick and then chase you with
Then they tossed it into the bowl of brown.
Oh.
Into the kettle.
That's so nasty.
I assume they still ate it, right?
No, they left. They just went into there and got the hell out of it. Anyways.
Someone else ate it.
Yes, they did.
Pie's dad.
Granddad.
Oh, that's gross. Flea Bottom is gross. That sounds like an unsanitary as fuck place.
Yeah. But it's funny because he talks about his two friends that seem like jerks, and he's like, I was the worst of them. Like, what was he up to back then? Of his three friends, he was the worst.
And he's the tall one, so.
He was the bully.
Yeah, exactly. The bully.
So yeah, anyway, there's a lot of ominous there are a lot of ominous rumors about Bloodraven, and every time Dunk talks about him, as he did in the Sworn Sword previously, there is that feeling of, there's that feeling of that dark glamour, that Bloodraven has, the reputation that he has in the realm, like straight Death Eater material.
Crazy. So there's we get a Lost reference in here.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
Where?
Some claimed the King's Hand, Bloodraven, was a student of the dark arts who could change his face, put on the likeness of a one-eyed dog, even turn into a mist. He's the smoke monster. There you go.
That's what I meant about his vaporizing. I didn't mean he was like vaping. I mean like he could turn into vapor.
Powder.
And he's got, I guess, that fucked up eye. So he sounds beautiful, you guys.
He's got the wine stain.
That birthmark.
Yep.
Anyway, so all this really sexy talk of Bloodraven happens at the beginning. And then there's sort of that social commentary on that Egg sort of comes up against all the time. I think Egg is like slowly becoming disillusioned as he sees, the small folk that are punished for treason. And I feel like he's trying to be on the side of the royal throne and arguing that the people deserve to be put down for treason. And, Dunk points out if that's the case, then half the towns and Seven Kingdoms would be empty. Then they talk about how they're poors for a while.
Oh, when they go to they're heading toward, what I circled, do they want a feather bed? I guess so. Okay, never mind.
What?
Because they had some hats to make.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Does my lord want a feather bed? I was trying to tie that in, but it didn't work. See, feather hat illusion. Okay.
Oh,
Do you guys feel like there are a lot of opportunities where Dunk can like afford nicer things or better food or an inn, but he chooses not to because he's like an Asian father, like trying to keep Egg.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like they have much money at all. It seems like he's just.
They could be living better if they ask for money, but he doesn't want to be living that lifestyle. He wants to be independent and to have Egg be independent.
Does that seem right? Is that believable to you if you grew up in Flea Bottom and you've been a poor your whole life? Like a poor, and like just miserably broke, and then you have this little princeling and probably like an unlimited account of dragons, like to not cash in on that? Does that?
Well, I don't think they have banks all over the place.
No, but I mean that's what makes his character special. You're right. A lot of the characters would take more advantage of the situation than he is.
I mean, Duncan, the Hedge Knight, was so thrilled to be able to eat 2 proteins at a meal, and Maekar definitely offered him.
They're not starving now, though. They're just cheap food.
I think the wealth kind of scares him. He doesn't really know.
You saw the consequence of the wealth in the first one.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that, Ashley. Like, it's too foreign of a world, and maybe he feels like he's not, like...
He hasn't gone to the right brothels yet.
Not classy enough. Yeah, seriously, he has gone to no brothels in the time that we've been reading these.
He's
focused on Egg right now, training him. So
he is just the ultimate knight. I mean, if you would picture a knight, if you could, or a hedge knight, I guess you could say, a lesser knight. He is the epitome of all that. He's kind and he's generous with what he has, and he doesn't live above his means, and he's all these things that you look for, and I think it's in this one where it's like finally a knight who remembers who he is, or there are true knights still in the world, and he seems to really epitome that. He seems to really be that true knight, and it's so funny because he isn't a knight in truth. You guys believe that, right?
Yes, I talk about that a lot in my essay, actually.
Yeah. The Telltale Knight in the Flight of Sorrows.
Okay.
Thank you for that plug. I mean, do you guys remember that book we wrote?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And here is our guest for the day, Mimi. Mimi, welcome to the podcast.
Nice to be here.
Who's your favorite character? When did you get into this series? Whatever the hell else
What's
we want to
your favorite
ask you.
theory? It's Feathered Hat, isn't it? But
I think it's the blood oranges theory. There's something about citrus and blowjobs that always felt like it really fit in Song of Ice and Fire. So
I win 1-0.
Are there some blood oranges in here in this one? I don't think there were though.
Nope.
But you specifically mentioned, that both Duncan and Brienne, two people who aren't knights, are actually the shining example of what they should be or what they're viewed as being.
Yeah, I think that I talk about this in the series in the essay, and I really would like to find my I think the context clues obviously with Dunk with his sheepish reticence where his knighthood is concerned. It's never explicit, but I think it's pretty much understood by all the readers that Dunk was never knighted, just due to poor timing with the old man's death. And then Brienne, obviously that gender identity crisis. I think they both suffer from that feeling of awkward displacement in their societies. And I think as a result of that, they turn to the code of knighthood to carve out a space for themselves, because that's a particular code, like a moral ground and a standard for behavior that they believe in and they can hold to. And because they feel out of place everywhere else, it's something for them to cling to. And they uphold it. And I think sometimes, especially in Brienne's case, to her detriment.
Absolutely. But I find it to be a very captivating character trait in them, and it's just like, yes, I want everyone to be like this and just be this knightly and everything, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's a nice thing to see, especially because when you read the Song of Ice and Fire novels proper, you don't see a lot of knights. Constantly that point is being underscored by the Hound, that knights are rarely as noble as their vows. So when you read these novellas and you're seeing, like, even in Dunk's time, it was not common for knights to behave the way that he did, as evidenced by the first one, the Hedge Knight, when he's facing these great lords and great famous knights and just saying, like, are there no true knights among you?
You do kind of get the impression, though, that Hedge Knights are actually kind of better knights than the rich guys.
I think to a certain extent, but that's not the reputation, right? Hedge Knights are like a step above mercenaries in society. But I think the old man, I think, was the one who had said that the Hedge Knight is the truest knight because they don't owe their allegiance to, someone they just happen to live in the same vicinity of, They can swear their allegiance to the cause that they believe in, which makes them more noble than just a matter of political alignment.
So Jack Reacher. Sorry, I'm the only one who saw that movie. Never mind.
What movie?
Jack Reacher with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, you were the only one.
Nope.
Yep. Indeed.
But yeah, I think it's really interesting that the landscape of knighthood didn't really change too much from 80 years before Game of Thrones opened to current Westeros.
Just because knights are a dime a dozen, everybody just gets the Sir title on there, but it doesn't really mean anything. It's too common.
Yeah.
Well, is it really? Obviously that's mostly what we see because they lead to good storytelling within the books, but are there really is the percentage that high? Are there really that many knights?
Amongst the nobility, they just expect to be knights if they're not like higher than that. So everyone, even Gregor becomes so then it doesn't really mean anything anymore. It's not like it would, and that's the way it is. Like that's.
I think whenever we see the Baratheon, Storm Lionel Baratheon, I think it was, we saw him knight Raymond Fossaway, and it was like 3 sentences and a pat on each shoulder. So, it's not, you don't have to do it with a septon present. You don't have to have a lot of ceremony. It's like, hello, good sir, here are a few words. Like, a knight can make a knight. So, obviously, that exponential growth of knighthood does seem like it's fairly common.
Yeah. Replicate like the Krogan.
Well done, Kyle.
Okay, let's get past page 3 here.
Oh yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Let's get moving.
Wait a second. The Krogan were hit by the genophage. They can't replicate, like...
Well, before the genophage.
Before the genophage. Okay. Anyway. Mass Effect aside.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, so...
Spoiler alert.
It's like the first hour of the game. What do we got? What's next? So they're heading down the road, and...
They come across some brosaps.
Yeah, but they're hiding in the hedges. Yeah. And so...
That's cute, that hedge knight hiding.
In the hedges.
Pretty adorable.
So we meet... Who do we meet? We meet Tom the Fiddler.
John the Fiddler.
John the Fiddler? Sorry, I was going to say Frank the Fiddler.
They had 3 tall feathered plumes.
Oh, Jesus.
Uh-oh.
We've got a Greyjoy here.
What have they been doing?
One of them wants to do it with Dunk. Oh.
So Mimi, who are the knights we meet here?
We meet Lord Grin as Starpike, sounds like an asshole. Alan Cockshaw, also an asshole. And John the Fiddler, surprisingly not an asshole. So those are the 3 dudes.
And John the Fiddler eventually asked Dunk to join them, right?
Yeah, I thought he was flirting with him.
He was.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, we'll get to that later, but he's gay. Like, that's pretty much confirmed.
He's gay? Oh yeah, duh. Sorry. I remember. Seriously, I need to read this over and over again for me to pick up everything in it. But yeah.
I gotta learn about that. That one went over my head.
And he's impressed with Dunk. He's like the big sword. Look at the size of him. Like, we'll see later on.
Yeah, it went over my head too.
If you look at it this way, then you'll understand why he's so, and we'll see, like, he's so friendly to Dunk all the time. He's like, oh, I dreamed of you and I need to be with you and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's all
He does not say, I need to be with you.
No, it says, I want you by my side, guarding me. Like,
Yeah, but like guarding him.
Guarding my, like,
he does not say guarding my rear. I swear to God. I mean, I don't know how you read these books.
One of these other guys is jealous. Like, you'll see, one of the other guys is jealous of, like, the relationship.
Yes, but still. Anyway.
What?
That's
No. Take Amin with a grain of salt. He no one ever said guard my rear in this novella, but yes, the implication there was some man jealousy and some man love happening here.
I did not see this.
Well,
others saw it on the forum. Check out the forum.
I still am not sold on this yet.
No, come on, Kyle. We'll go it. Maybe you'll read
we'll
this
go
for
through it. Yeah, I think I circled it.
Yeah. Let's go through it, and maybe we'll get some actual facts here instead of all your.
He offers Dunk a feathered hat. He wants him to wear a feathered.
Oh well, there I go. I'm sold.
So John the Fiddler, the 3 feathers.
Oh, here we go. The Fiddler says, "I hope we meet soon. I should love to try my lance on you."
Oh, fuck
gee.
you, I mean. So yes, they're apparently going to celebrate the wedding of Lord Ambrose Butterwell. And Butterwell is apparently marrying a Frey of the Crossing. What a lovely family to marry into. And so there's having a tourney and a joust, and that's where these brosefs are headed, and John the Fiddler invites Dunk along.
To which Dunk says, "Nope, can't."
Nope, I'm not good enough. That constant Dunk shame. He's like a guilty Catholic at all times. He's like, oh, I can't do it.
No, he's just kind of doing his thing and trying to fly under the radar. He's got a prince with him.
Yeah,
here.
he has to hide that part. Like, he's worried about them finding about Egg.
Yeah, he can't just be like, yo, I'm going to hang around with all these lords while I got my prince, my undercover prince with me.
Ain't nobody know Egg is a prince.
That's the thing. But if he starts hanging around all these highborn people and lords, somebody might realize something. Mm-hmm. Especially after Ashford Meadow and all that jazz.
Yeah, it's a combination of things. He's also like insecure himself.
I like that Dunk thinks that that Gorman Peak is some kin to House Frey because he's got a castle on his shield. He's got 3 castles on his shield.
Yeah, and then Egg is like, you idiot.
Not quite.
The 2 arms are 2 blue towers connected by a bridge. Did you see a bridge?
A little sometimes.
I love it. I don't think Dunk's ever hit him, but I love that Dunk is always threatening to beat the living shit out of him.
Well, that's your daddy issue.
Shut up.
Yeah, well, earlier on too, it says the feathered lordling.
Oh,
like,
me.
He's using feather everywhere. Like, it's crazy. Okay.
Okay, so he turns them down. They head off, and then they can Dunk and Egg continue on to the inn.
Oh, but by the way, Dunk realizes that Lord Gorman Peak, the older asshole, was the one who killed Sir Arlen and Pennytree's son. I mean, maybe he wasn't the one of his men, at least, right? A lord of 3 castles on a shield.
Mm. And did you guys get the impression at this point that, like when I first read that, I was like, oh, Dunk is gonna kill this motherfucker, and hate him. I thought he was gonna absolutely despise him or whatnot. And we find out that there's a little turn at the end where that's not quite the case. But at this point, I thought there was gonna be some craziness going on between the 2 of them.
Well, it actually helped him. That's the thing. Even though he would never have asked for it. The fact that the guy got killed helped him.
Well, that's exactly right. He ends up thanking him.
I don't think he can quite. He can't go quite that way either, right? Because that would be like wrong to be like, "Thank you for killing him."
Well, I don't know. I don't think
he feels like that in his head.
But yes.
But I mean, that was. I mean, don't you guys think that was a reason he decided to go to the tourney? That personal spite, because he turns him down and then he thinks about it and says, "Well, we have to go by White Walls. Why not eat some food while we're there.
Wow, I never really thought about that, but that's pretty interesting. I figured it was just a dunk thing where he's like, you know what, I thought about it, all right. Like,
Yeah.
He's saying it's old Sir Arlen Squire who defeated you. So yeah, he's kind of imagining beating him. The boy who replaced the boy you killed. The old man would like that. So there you go.
Interesting.
So he goes, yeah, maybe it's time to enter the lists.
Cool. That's neat.
He goes, might be it's time. It's not, sir. Maybe it's time I give you a good clout in the ear. It's 2 threats in 1 conversation. He's getting abusive.
Oh, stop dreaming of getting smacked, Mimi.
Shut up. So then I guess at this point they go to an inn. Is this the inn? What inn is this? This is.
I was going to ask the same damn question. Is
it
this
the inn at the
crossroads?
That would be cool if it was. It might be. Let's see. What's the description?
We just assume every inn next to like a lake, because the inn at the crossroads had like a ferry behind it, right?
Yes.
Does the summary say that they went to the end of the crossroads? Doesn't say.
No.
But it doesn't mean that it's not the end of the crossroads.
Yeah, they meet at an inn, but
it might have been called something different back then.
Sure, but geographically, where are they? Leaving
It was
Stony.
Joe's.
You know?
It's Joe's bar. Yeah, geographically, it's right. Where somebody bring up a map. Ashley, take your map out.
They're heading near
like 5
Harrenhal,
feet
right?
thick.
Yeah.
So they are near Harrenhal, so they're probably close to the end of the crossroads then.
Well, we're gonna call it that unless proven otherwise.
Well,
Yeah, I think
they're
Harrenhal
in
is the one
Riverland.
that's close to it.
So Stony Sept is like right there, like near Acorn Hall and High Heart. So
It would be the kind of thing that he would do, is put in a reference to it. Doesn't mean he did, but it would definitely fit.
someone tell us how wrong we are later when you listen to this episode.
Yeah, some people are raging right now. They're like,
Please write in and tell us we're assholes and we don't know geography. But the only thing I'm thinking is because there was that ferry when Brienne and Jamie were at that inn, right?
yeah, it's the type of thing that he would do. It doesn't mean that he did it, but it's the type of thing that George would do to have this connection. So, okay.
just giving the listeners a chance to tell us that we're high. So
Yeah, I don't know.
but yeah, so they go to the inn. The inn's like, yeah, we're not gonna serve you here, street rat.
Well, they almost did until he was like, "Yo, can we sleep in your stables?" And then the woman was like, "Get the fuck out of here! You might be the size of a horse, but you're not."
And
one, sir."
George talks about neeps again.
Oh, yeah.
Neeps.
That's
Oh,
neeps.
it's wild boar as well. They're serving wild boar. So that's where the boars go.
Oh, geez.
Wow, here we go.
Oh,
Boars and
science.
neeps. Am I talking to the guys from last episode?
Yeah,
Let's talk about neeps.
Yeah, we
Yep.
did.
We wondered
And
where the
wild
boars
boars.
go. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Apparently they go to the inn at the crossroads. And then we hear some more about how delicious salt beef is.
Oh, yes. So then after they get turned away, she tells them about some other hedge knights that are by the water in the woods. So they head over there. And
Oh, they
And
go by a
other
Werewood
bros
Grove.
stuff. So we are meeting a lot of bros. 3 fellow hedge knights. Sir Maynard Plum, Sir Kyle, the cat of Misty Moor, and
Yeah,
Sir
it's
Glendon.
Kyle.
yeah, my namesake. I wish he was more badass. He's
Well, he's true to character.
shut the fuck up. You dead. I'm gonna kill you.
Don't you know Sir Kyle's also
Kyle.
gay? But no.
You know, I bet George is thinking about you when he wrote in this character.
Yeah, because he's like the cat of Misty Moor. That's like your kind of title.
Be like, right in Sir Kyle, this enthusiastic dick sucker of men. And sorry.
Excuse me? Wow. That's it. I'm leaving. All right, later. Turn on the mic. My exit noise.
Kyle out.
Okay, well, we could pull in somebody from the. See,
Get the fuck out of here with me. You're dead.
Oh,
Ghost.
you
You're going
guys-
down. That's
you
it. I
guys-
am plotting my revenge on Dean.
how big do you think Sir Maynard Plum's dick is?
My dick is huge. Thank you very much.
No, Sir Maynard Plum.
It's 6 feet long, isn't it?
Right, he's related to the Plums, right?
How is he related to Brown Plum and Brown Plum?
So I guess he is.
That didn't answer my question.
You're the worst.
Maynard Plum, Ben Brown Plum.
We don't know how he's related to them, but I know, Ben Plum is Ossifer Plum's son, so.
Wait, do you know about the whole Plum story with that whole 6 foot cock or whatever? I think that.
Yeah, we talk about it like every episode.
I know, but do you know why they came up with that or something? I think it was because the guy was dead and then his wife had a kid, and they're saying that so he was like 6 feet under, and that's how it would have happened.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's a likely story.
Okay, so sorry, I'm coughing here.
Yeah. So anyway, Maynard Plum. And then
Brown Ben's the leader of the Second Sons, and Bittersteel has something to do with the Second Sons, right? That he is Bittersteel in the Second Sons? Is that the right one?
Bittersteel's a Golden Company.
Golden Company. Okay, never mind. My connection just vanished. Up like the smoke monster, Bloodraven.
But what's cool? Do we all know who Sir Maynard Plum is? Have we all figured that out?
No,
because he's got a moonstone brooch big as a hen's egg fashioned on his shoulder. That's a key. Right?
Tell us, Amin. What?
He's Bloodraven.
What?
Where did you get that from?
What?
He's Bloodraven in disguise.
Are you shitting me?
No. Read it that way, okay? Like
what?
No, when I first read it, I didn't get this. Like the second read though, like this is a theory that's on the forums, and then I'm reading it through the forums. I thought something was up. I didn't think it was actually Bloodraven. I thought maybe he's like affecting him or he's like under his control. But I think maybe it's actually Bloodraven.
He's just one of the little birds. He's one of his eyes.
But he's got a brooch on it. Well, just keep that in mind. Like read it that way. Because I've circled it as well as we move forward.
It doesn't make me feel stupid.
No, it makes him even more badass that he's there in person and doing all this shit. Like, you'll see.
All right. Let's continue on.
Move on.
Let's continue on. Let's unravel this mystery.
Look for the gay lines and look for Bloodraven. They're both in there. So
look for gay stuff and Bloodraven stuff. That is your prerogative.
I hate you, Amin. Okay, next.
All right, moving on.
Anyway, so Kyle is so enthusiastic. He's like, dude, we got apples and eggs and onions. We're going to have this whole feast. We've got stumps for your comfort. This is awesome. Like, this is straight up
fine choice
Kyle.
Of stumps, yeah.
Fine choice of stumps. This is our Kyle in the book.
Optimistic, absolutely.
So optimistic.
Hey, it sounds like a good feast to me. If you're chewing on shoe leather all the time, you got this.
And Kyle's like, even sour wine is better than none. He's like the happiest man in the world.
Aww.
That shit. Fuck that. So, anyway, apparently they talk about how the Butterwell is going to carry the fray. Yeah, how they're rich. And in the Black Dragon Rose, apparently Lord Butterwell sent one son to Daemon and one to Daemon.
What a douche.
That is some smart ass shit, though.
No, well, yes and no. I mean, because yes, you're going to have a son on the winning side, but you're also going to be half a traitor no matter who wins.
That's what the Swans, I think, did. Balin Swan's family was sending like a son to every family.
Yeah, I think it might have been a common practice back then. But
well, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like he's kind of an exception. I don't think
it's common, but it does happen.
Yeah, Egg, who knows all about this stuff, he's the only one he's really insulting. He's like, you sent one to both. He doesn't mention anybody else.
Well, backfired on him because both of his sons died. This reminds me of Sir Eustace all over again. And so he's got to marry so that he can have a son through this weasel-faced fray.
Well, at least he picked the fertile family. So
yeah.
I like how they labeled them as coin clinkers. It's like they're both these families that came out of money, and they're
the cattle thieves, toll collectors.
That's where we learn how Butterwell made all his money.
Yep, I think so. Or is a mention of it?
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't find it.
It's cows.
It's cows.
Cows. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Oh yes, that's right. So, Milky White Castle.
Then they talk about Aegon the Unworthy, which I thought was great. Always just shit on that guy all the time, which I think he's the greatest troll that Westeros has ever known. And Sir Kyle tells them, hey, come to White Walls. Your sides is sure to catch some lordling's eye. Look at that. I picked up gay stuff, I mean.
What page are we here? I think I fell behind here. Okay, so they're talking about that. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, keep up, you bastard.
Yeah. Well, you didn't say the story. Like, so Aegon basically he planted the bastards in those maiden girls, and he gave them the dragon eggs, right? That's the source of the eggs.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's right. Because Aegon stayed at he stayed at White Walls and knocked up all his daughters in the same night.
Oh.
And then to say whoops, he gave him a dragon's egg.
That is a sweet present.
I know. I'd be like, here are my daughters. Bang them some more. Give me another dragon egg.
Kyle, gonna be a great father.
Well, that's what Kyle says. He chuckled. A hot night's work that was.
Oh, nice work. Well, did you guys notice, like in this conversation, that Kyle starts saying some treasonous level shit?
Oh,
And Sir Maynard is like, nah, not really though. Like he's sort of defending Bloodraven, but not
yeah.
particularly passionately.
Yeah,
I think
but he's talking about stuff that why the hell would Maynard know about that even or even care that he's like
Mhm.
an eye on Tirosh and he's planning blah blah blah. Like why would this guy care about that? This is not the strongest evidence of that. That comes later.
Interesting. And then we meet some little whiny guy who's sitting by himself. Why don't you tell us about him, Amin?
Where are we here? Is that Fireball? You mean Fireball?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
On
super
page
like
666.
son of a whore and supposedly Fireball, but the odds are
So
low.
who is Fireball?
Fireball's a douchebag.
Fireball's not that much of a douchebag.
But he makes his wife join the Silent Sisters or whatever so he can go become Kingsguard. I think that's in here somewhere. Where did I circle it? Losing track here.
Nothing track.
But basically, yeah, Fireball they wanted to put him on the Kingsguard, so he was married. So it's like, yeah, you got to go join the Silent Sisters. Is that the right term? Silent Sisters?
Oh, what? Oh,
So-
wow. The
so
thing
those
about
who-
Sir Glendon that was really shifty is that he like whored his sister out to get his knighthood.
Was it his plan, though? It sounded like, I mean, later on when they talk about it, it sounds like his sister was the one who was like, I want you to be a knight, and so I'm going to do this for you.
Oh, maybe he's just got a really nice sister.
To me. That's what it sounded like to me, because it was just the two of them, and the whores.
Just to clarify, Glendon is Fireball's son, or claims to be. Fireball is the older guy, or the dead guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Fireball was...
That was the douchebag I was saying that put his wife into the away.
Let's see. He was a master of arms for Aegon IV. Aegon promised him a place in the Kingsguard, so Quentin made his wife join the Silent Sisters in order to facilitate this. However, when a place became available under Daemon II, Fireball was refused the White Cloak. And the betrayal made Fireball choose Daemon Blackfire's side during the rebellion. And it was rumored that he did as much as Bittersteel to convince Daemon to claim the throne. Fireball rescued Daemon from King Darren when the Kingsguard was sent to arrest him. And so, yeah, Fireball was a good Blackfire knight.
Until an
One of
archer
the best.
put an arrow in his throat when he went to get a drink. Just some common man no one knows.
Is that a gay reference?
Oh no, it was a Bloodraven raid. Through his throat. Just some common man no one knows who, but maybe Bloodraven.
Yeah, Bloodraven and his arrows, man. That sounds legit.
That kind of assassination technique, right?
Yeah, the old school sniping.
We're powering through here. This is good. I just wanted to mention that there's a mention of people talking about like playing board games with like painted soldiers and stuff. So there's your Game of Thrones board game reference.
You know, we talk about this time and time again, but I'm all about the Black Dragon. I'm all about Daemon, so I think Fireball's cool and did not have a problem with his son, although I think he has poor people skills. But I think Dunk says the best thing here. It's just kind of like, I squired for a knight who fought with the Red Dragon and later served another who fought for the Black. They were brave men on both sides. And again, that sentiment is proven time and time again with the people that Dunk comes across. So history is rewritten by the victor and all that. And we talked about that.
All right, Mimi, then let's all pick sides.
Black Dragon up in here. What about y'all?
I'm black. I'm for the black.
Oh really? Wow.
Yes.
Cool. Two on that side. I'm gonna have to go with the Dornish side. So.
No, what the? So you're for the red?
Yeah.
I'm
All
for
right,
black.
Ashley?
Black.
Yeah!
Oh.
Suck it, mean.
Well,
you can have a little pot-belly prince, and
I'll have all of you executed, you traitors. See you in Essos. That's where you're gonna be.
We got the sword, so.
we got the sword.
Oh, whatever. I'll just
You
melt.
meant for him to
I'll
have-
melt down some other swords. From
Couldn't even handle it.
I'm
so-
gonna be freaking Bloodraven. That's who I'm gonna be. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bloodraven would be a cool person to be since
Yeah.
you can live until the end
Yeah.
of time.
And he went with Sheerus Seastar, or at least he was one of the guys that did, right? So
Amin's just picking which characters he liked based on their paramours.
aren't you?
If you guys were
No.
actually lords back then, would you still go for the black, you guys, and for the red? I mean, like weighing all your options and everything. How do you,
If I was actually a lord in that world, I'd probably
Yes.
just, but it was me. I'd probably just like come late to the battle or something. Then I
Yeah, we'll pull a Tywin Lannister.
Oh, you coward!
It depends on
Coward.
where my house
Care
is
about living.
located.
I'd be like, oh, I was on a tour of Essos at the time. Sorry about that.
Be like family vacation.
Yeah, family vacation, like whatever that girl.
To a shy.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, BRB y'all. Keep me in touch. Keep me in the
What
loop.
about you, Kyle? Like, if you actually were there, you would go with the black.
You know, I don't know. What Ashley was just saying, where your castle is.
Yeah, depends on if you're surrounded by other black supporters, I'd go with that. If I was surrounded by red dragons, I might not go with my principles.
Yeah, also I think betting on Bloodraven is the safe way to go. And if he's for the red.
Well, did he have the reputation before?
Yeah, I was wondering
the
the
whole
same thing.
Or
That's
is that
a good
what
point.
made his reputation?
I think he had the reputation before because he was placed under a lot of suspicion when Good King Daeron and all his sons died, you know? Great. I mean, granted, that was in the Great Spring Sickness, but his ascent was before that. So,
Interesting.
He took a great advantage of that civil war. Like, it really helped him. So
yeah, maybe he planted it.
All right.
he knew it was going to happen, and he did nothing to stop it.
We find out here, by the way, that Egg has a dragon's egg.
Oh yes.
He's like, yeah, I'd show you mine, but it's at Summer Hall. And Dunca's like, the fuck, you have an egg? He's like, yeah, they put it in my cradle. Don't you? You poor. Yeah, so
All
he
Targaryens sleep with eggs.
right. That's like the most ostentatious rich person thing I've heard in West. Like, yeah, we all have an egg. Arian's is gold and silver. Mine is white and green. Like, what does your egg look like, Dunk? Dunk's like, I only had a severed head in my cradle. So don't know what that's like.
So guys, let's go on an egg hunt here. The eggs that Daenerys had. Where do these eggs? Do we see these eggs again?
I thought that Egg tried to hatch his egg later at Summer Hall.
Okay, so his egg is either destroyed or missing or hatched into an invisible dragon.
The gold and silver, see, they don't sound like Dany's eggs because Dany's eggs were white and the cream and gold, and then green and gold, and then like black and red.
Okay.
So Arian's is gold and silver with veins of fire running through it. He probably tried to drink it, and his white and green, all swirly.
Right.
So we hadn't heard about eggs, but like because of the whole Summer Hall thing, I think that's maybe where some of those eggs were.
Okay, so neither of the eggs we come across in this book show up later on, or so we think.
I don't believe it. He said the last dragon left a clutch of 5.
So it's these 2 and then Dany's 3?
No, he says his brothers all have them. So each of his brothers had.
So they're
an egg.
rare but common enough that Illyrio could have got his hands on it.
Interesting.
For rich people.
Well, Illyrio might have got his from a shy.
Yeah, I
And
think.
they say that dragons live there just on their own,
And
hanging
the
out.
old ones. There's more on Dragonstone. Old ones from before the dance. So.
For the dance.
Oh, but yeah, that reminds me. Aemon, Maester Aemon on the wall. He had an egg. Don't know what he did with it.
Planted under the wall.
His chambers is like a dragon egg waiting to be used. And maybe something happened to it at the end of the last book.
I just hope that each Targaryen went and buried their egg somewhere, and then like all of them just hatch, and then it's just like Pokemon for the rest of the books. That's my sincere wish.
Mimi, did you see the Khaleesi Pokemon shirt?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
That was cool.
There you go.
They listen to our podcast.
Did you see the picture of me and you that I posted?
What, of me and you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Sir Kyle the cat.
There you go. It's an Arian and Oakheart picture.
Let me see.
You can go searching on any of our stuff for that. So let's see. So we meet Fireball. Blah 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 blah.
He's a
They
whiny
go to
bitch.
bed.
Fireball's son is a whiny bitch. Moving on.
Well, he's not really whining right now, is he? Kinda, or I guess a little bit. The dude's pissed, man. He's got some pent up rage.
Well, having pent up rage is accept. I understand that. It's just like, why is he so talented?
Because people can be.
But he doesn't. He didn't really have any real training. He got a bit of training and he got knighted, and he's so good at lancing now.
Well, yeah. Didn't somebody train him? Wasn't there some sort of knight or something that came?
He made the most of his lessons then.
Yeah, he
What
had
do you-
lessons there.
What do you guys think about that line over there when Dunk says, if I win the tourney, we'd both have Dragon's Edge. Dragon's Edge. What is that, a video game? We'd both have Dragon's Eggs. And Egg gives him a doubtful look. And he goes, why are you looking at me that way? And Egg says, I could tell you, sir, but I need to learn to hold my tongue.
Ooh, good question.
So is that Egg just doubting his ability to win the tourney?
That's what I took it
Yeah.
Or
as.
Egg thinking that the egg is going to someone else?
I think doubting his ability probably, and I would doubt it too.
Okay.
So.
How early on do you guys think Egg finds out that there's a whole bunch of Blackfires around? Or Blackfire friends? Do you think he already knows by this point?
He's kind of an idiot.
Egg?
No, he's not an idiot.
He seems smart at times, but he's also really stupid at times.
He's not he's not like that super genius prodigy that's already figured it out at this point. So yeah, he's not. Yeah, I don't think he knows it. Anyways, they're doing toasts here, and then let's see.
Are we at White Walls now? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the next day they head to White Walls. And go to the feast.
Dunk wants a mealy. At a marriage, Sir Kyle sounded shocked that would be unseemly. And then Sir Maynard said...
Did you say a mealy?
Yeah, or melee, whatever.
You Canadians are weird.
Why are you criticizing my pronunciations today? Is that all you could... That's your revenge, is like, yes, I'll criticize.
I hate you, Amin.
But...
Yeah, I think the next part of this is just them going to that feast and being segregated, which is my takeaway from it.
Yeah, pretty much. Bunch of food. George is in his element here.
Oh, a chinless boy, 4, whose nose was dripping snot. We know who that is. Kyle can reveal it.
We have Walder Frey.
What?
Yep.
What's that?
That is
I caught it.
Frey,
Did I catch something that Mimi didn't catch?
So much.
I don't even know what part we're on right now.
The Frey Lord brings in a little baby. He's got a little baby bouncing on his knee, and it's dripping snot out of his nose. And it is none other than our favorite Red Wedding host.
Oh, man.
Yep.
His heir, that's right. That chin never grew.
Do you guys remember the physical descriptions that much? I mean, you must, because I know when Mimi first read. I know when Mimi first read Dance of Dragons, she messaged me right after she found Bloodraven, and she was like, "Oh my god, you ain't gonna believe this." And then I read it, and I was like, "Yeah, Dunk fighting those whites was really cool." And you were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Bloodraven. And I was like, what? You're like, the wine stain birthmark. And I was like,
that's pretty distinctive, though, my friend.
No, but the physical descriptions are something that I just kind of gloss over when I read it. I feel like there's so many of them.
You're like, if it's not about big titties, I didn't remember it.
I know. It's not some bar wench with tits as bigger than her head. I don't know what's going on. But it's just like...
I cannot wait for one day when Martin's description would be like, the bar wench had tits bigger than her head.
I think he's done that.
Teeth bigger than her head.
I think he said it a few times.
Dear Martin, please write that in.
I have them earmarked in my books. Let me check.
Let's be real. Print it out.
But... No, things like chinless or what now. I just kind of keep on going. I'm sure, but now that you guys mentioned it, I'm sure that the first time we met Walder Frey in Game of Thrones, he was chinless, and so now it just makes perfect sense to me. But when I'm reading them, physical descriptions don't stick with me very well.
Can I point out, pretty gross, that the bride is 15 and the groom is 50?
What are you talking about, gross?
That's like the Frey custom is to have huge
strong gross
age difference. Yeah.
Also creepy that Frey was like, I want twins, so better put out, daughter.
Oh yeah.
Churn the butter well tonight, my sweet.
That description is disgusting.
If my dad ever said that to me at my wedding, I would throw up on his head. Strong, disturbing. Anyway,
churn the butter well tonight, my sweet.
So at Mimi's wedding, we're gonna have the Night's Watch oath, and we're gonna have some churn butter. So.
Oh, gross. I would have a Westerosi wedding though, because I really want a bunch of dudes to just try to take my clothes off on carrying me to a bedroom. That sounds fun.
Sounds about right.
Sounds like a normal day in my life. Anyway, moving on. You'll notice that a lot of people, when Lord Frey is making toasts to the king's hand and the king, there are some people who are not having that. Sir Glendon turning his cup over.
Apparently just as many people that toasted turned their cups over.
Yeah, as many lowered their cups or turned them upside down.
A waste of good wine, said Sir Maynard Plum.
Okay.
And Sir John the Fiddler proposed a toast to his brave brothers. I like that touch.
To his brave brothers. Very nice.
Dunk steals some food out for Egg.
This food sounds so good, y'all. Are the Inn of the Crossroads girls going to make this stuff? Sounds
Yeah,
good.
Should, yeah.
have they done dunk and egg? I'm gonna tweet at them right now.
A ripe white cheese that smelled as strong as Bennis of the Brown Shield. That doesn't make you hungry? Okay.
All right, so what's next of note,
Moving on
folks?
here, let's see.
So they're at the feast and blah blah blah, and they're toasting and not toasting and eating and not eating.
And John the Fiddler is like, "What's up, guys? I'm gonna be the champion."
I
and
guess.
and he's wearing some fancy ass jewelry at this point.
What do you? Okay.
He clapped Dunk on the shoulder. Be a good fellow and shove over, Sir Duncan.
And the
Okay.
fiddler smelled of oranges and limes with a hint of some strange
Oranges?
spice beneath. I mean, citrus?
What?
Actually,
Okay.
at this point where they're talking about everybody who died in the sickness, actually that was interesting because some of the Targaryens died, and that kind of goes back to the question: when do Targaryens die to disease? Are they really immune to it? Is it by chance? Were they?
Oh, do people think Targaryens are immune to disease?
That's been
They're not-
mentioned a couple of times.
Not vampires or anything.
Yeah, but like, the whole thing that Tyrion didn't get grayscale links into that, but some of them died. But then it's like, well, maybe at this point they were too half-blood or whatever. They didn't have enough Targaryen blood.
Gotcha.
And a couple of years of incest brought that back. I don't know. It's complicated here.
Then the wedding pie happens,
Hmm.
and Kyle is so enthusiastic that he doesn't even care he gets shit on his shoulders. Some strong Kyle behavior.
Where is he?
right?
Yeah.
Just wipe it off and you go with the flow, man. Shit happens.
Proper way to fill a pie. The pie is supposed to be a marriage, and a true marriage has sorts of things in it: joy and grief and pain and pleasure and bird shit.
Oh, waxing philosophic there, Kyle.
There you go. You know what? I'm liking this Kyle the pussy even more.
I like he goes, "No man truly knows what a new wife will bring him. Her cunt," said Plum. Or what else would be the point?
Just keeping it real. Just
Plum
keeping it real, yo.
That Blackfire dark sense of humor. So anyway, Dunk goes out. He is drunk as shit because of all of the toasts. And he is trying to bring some food over to Egg.
He's got to break the seal, man.
He's got to break the seal. The piss went on and on. Thank you, George.
The everlasting.
So while he's taking a leak, he overhears some words
Some
above.
juicy gossip. This is
Here we
important.
go.
And they say, basically, you didn't bring bitter steel. And a familiar voice says, no bastard can be trusted, not even him. And a few victories will bring him over the water fast enough. So, of course, this is pretty rebellious sounding shit if they're involving bitter steel. And Lord Peak is one of the people speaking. Lord Gorman Peak.
And Peak was the one who killed Arlen's squire.
Yes.
Okay.
He's the old dude that Dunk came over here to beat.
In Mimi's version.
And he says, old milk blood, and Lord Butterwell, I assume, expected the boy to have it, so will all the rest.
The boy.
The boy. And he says, I don't know, sorry, I didn't want me to read this whole thing, but this exchange is pretty interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
The prince says the egg will hatch. He dreamed it, just as he once dreamed his brother's dead. A living dragon will win us all the swords that we want. And he's told a dragon is one thing, a dream's another. I promise you, Bloodraven is not off dreaming. We need a warrior. Is the boy his father's son? So, brings the question of who are they talking about?
And so Dunk isn't sure.
Dunk is not sure.
Because
And
Dunk
so-
thinks it's Fireball.
Yeah, Dunk thinks they're talking about Fireball. They are not. But I think it's an interesting point, like that once we have Butterwell's gold and the Swords of Frey, so they're two people that they're pulling into their scheme, then Harrenhal will follow, then the Brackens, and so they're trying to get the Riverlands Lords to their cause, and they think that the dragon will do it.
Well, it's interesting that a marriage place is a good place to have this kind of deal making. It's like a good cover.
Yeah.
And in fact, similar things may have happened at the tournament at Harrenhal the years later. There may have been things going on there as well that we don't know about.
Yeah, it seems like every time the Lords want to get together and conspire, they're like, let's do a tourney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time they want to kill someone, let's do a wedding.
Yep.
Let's churn
New
that
brand.
butter. Yeah.
It's the new
So guys,
tourney.
who did the Freys fight for? The red or the black?
Um,
I'm assuming they fought for the red because they still have their castle.
Because they
and it-
chickened out, didn't they?
So are they hoping to? So are the Freys now black sympathizers, or
whatever they're doing
What?
is for power. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If they think it's going to get something for them, it's probably not
Okay.
like loyalty or whatever.
So there's definitely a lot more drinking that's happening, and they're There are dwarves, a troop of painted dwarves.
There we go. So we have Tyrion's great-grandfather.
The Bear and the Maiden Fair is
I'm
being
just making
sung.
that shit
That's
up.
an old song. Old school song.
Oh, and so by the way, they pointed out that the chinless urchin, Walder Frey, was the one who made the marriage.
Oh, that's right, because he found the girl fucking the...
Making the two back east.
That left an impression on him for the rest of his life. He was
There you go.
he tried to.
He was
relive that
horny
moment.
from that point
Yes.
forward
Oh, gross.
for young girls. Is there ever a scene where he's like down in the kitchen?
But I mean, it's an interesting point. So she's a soiled girl, and Doug is like, why on earth would Lord Butterwell, who has so much land and gold, want to marry a girl who's been fucked by a potboy, a kitchen scullion, you know?
You know,
And then give away a dragon's egg to celebrate this occasion, right? So it's not like amazing to marry. It's like marrying a Frey isn't really marrying up. So, you know, at this point Dunk is drunk and he's all thinking, this is a weird match. What's happening here?
I think it's cool that like Frey is fighting with the dwarves and getting like drunk or something. Like he had the most irritating laugh.
It's just heh over and over again.
did you just say a little boy was getting drunk?
Well, he seems like he's drunk or something. He's going crazy. Like he's probably
So
sugar high.
he's perfectly
When
normal.
kids go buck wild, it's
Yeah.
because of alcohol and not
Yeah.
because of kids.
Sugar high. He's pummeling the wedding guests with a bladder.
Oh, I thought the dwarves were doing that.
No, like Lord Frey's son was doing it too. Like he ran in there and started like going crazy.
Gotcha.
So Dunk threatens Frey then. He threatens Walder Frey.
Oh, Dunk wanted to throw him down a well.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
great.
Oh, that's a Martin reference to like people who hated the Red Wedding. It's like here, he almost
Yep.
got thrown down a well.
People who hated the Red Wedding. Is there a group that liked the Red Wedding?
Well, I like that it happened. I think it added to the books. I didn't like the incident, but if it hadn't existed in the books, I don't think the books would be as good.
Politically correct answer. Thank you.
You're a sick man. I mean,
If you could change it, you would take the Red Wedding out of the books. I would for sure keep it there.
I refuse to answer the question.
Would you take it out of season 3, the Red Wedding? Yeah,
You
it has-
disgust me, Amin.
I mean, we're just needing to banish you from the podcast for that inhuman response. I like that Dunk has this wine dream about Tanzel Too Tall and the Red Widow.
Whoa.
Hey there.
Wow.
So then the betting comes and he ends up joining it because John the Fiddler is like, let the giant carry her. So he's like, all right.
What a great guy.
The dwarves are smacking at his calves with their bladders.
So wait a minute. So John the Fiddler has a thing for Dunk,
Yep.
but he wants Dunk to carry around a naked woman.
He likes to watch.
He wanted to see Dunk erection,
helping him
and
out.
Dunk totally had an erection. He said,
Is that? Oh, okay. Okay.
Dunk was crimson too, and not from exertion. His arousal would have been obvious if anyone had been looking.
Somebody
But fortunately, all eyes were on the bride.
John the Fiddler.
So he takes her up to Lord Butterwell's bedchamber, throws her on the bed. I thought it was weird that the dwarf jumped up and was like seeing her boobs. It almost reminded me of that scene from the House of the Undying with the dwarves on the woman.
Oh, wow.
Just a little bit because they were like biting at her breasts. So
Yeah, but that was a metaphor.
yeah, that was, but it just that
This is
scenario
real.
was like,
Okay.
huh. So
Yeah.
he's like kicking out the dwarf, and then he sees the dragon's egg, which it is. What color is it? Blood and flame. So it was red, a deep, rich red, gold flecks, and rolls of midnight black.
Nice.
And then, so then he gets interrupted as he's looking at the egg by the dude whose voice he recognized as the one who was talking with Peak.
Wait, you forgot to say that he drunkenly goes over and picks up an egg.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, shiny thing. Oh, I'm going to pick it up. Like, what?
I would try to do that too. He's never seen a dragon's egg before.
Dunk the long, thick as a castle wall, I tell you.
But yeah, then he's like, oh fuck, why did I go touch a dragon's egg when he leaves?
So he goes outside.
Well, he goes the opposite direction away from everyone and ends up going up the castle, right?
And this is a scene Amin's been waiting for. John the Fiddler comes up.
He stood up behind him, smiling in his silken cloth of gold. What's made of snow?
What? Was that an argument? What?
No, I'm just starting it off. We're moving.
Yeah, no, yeah, John John the Fiddler says that the castle looks as if it's made of snow. And Then he asks him about the wall, and Dunk tells him he's going up to Winterfell. And the Fiddler's like, "Oh, I wish I could join you. You could show me the way."
Nope, not having it.
Nope. And Dunk goes, "What are you up here for, bro?" And the Fiddler says, "Alan was seeking for me, and I did not care to be found. He grows tiresome when he drinks." So I don't know what that means. If Alan's gonna like try and get on him.
Well, he also says that you might be surprised at what some men can miss as well, right?
Does he?
Yep.
And then he says, "I dreamed of you before I even met you. When I saw you on the road, I knew your face at once. It was as if we were old friends." And then Dunk also had the strange feeling like he'd had lived because of that conversation that he had with Daron, Egg's brother, at the inn in the Hedge Knight when he says, "I dreamed of you. My dreams are not like yours, Sir Duncan. Mine are true." Again, with the Targaryen premonitions through their dreams. And the Fiddler says, "I dreamed you were all in white from head to heel, with a long pale cloak flowing from those broad shoulders. You were a white swordsman, a sworn brother of the King's Guard, the greatest knight in all the 7 kingdoms, and you lived for no other purpose but to guard and serve and please your king." So, I mean, right here, like, we know this happened. We know that Dunk went on to become the Lord Commander of the King's Guard from the Song of Ice and Fire novels. Which is pretty great, so obviously it was true.
Cool.
And then, gay part, he starts massaging his shoulder.
What?
Dunk shrugged away the
Wow.
ling's hand.
Puts his hand on his shoulder. Wow.
No.
Oh my God.
No.
It makes him gay.
No, he began.
What?
The guy sounds like Jojen. Is like Jojen gay too for Bran?
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, dude, I'm going to put my hand on your shoulder.
No, but he
Oh,
massages
you
it.
gay?
And Dunk shrugged his hand away.
Okay.
"Oh, come on, like, you don't get this, Kyle." He goes, "I suppose that means I'll have to take the throne then. I would much rather be teaching you to fiddle." Fiddle with his dick? I mean,
What? Where is this?
are you
Next
reading
page.
the same book we did?
No.
What does he mean when he says, "I would much be rather teaching you to fiddle"? Like, what does he mean?
Let me
about that?
hold on. I gotta find this. You're
Oh,
making-
I think I might have raised an eyebrow at that one.
You know, and Dunk says, "You're drunk." And the Fiddler says, "Wonderfully drunk. Wine makes all things possible, Sir Duncan. You'd look a god in white, I think. But if the color does not suit you, perhaps you'd prefer to be a lord?" Come on. I want to massage your shoulder and teach you how to fiddle, and you look damn good in white. To him, strong.
Maybe he just wants to woo him to his side.
With like a massage job?
Why not? Massage dudes all the time. Wait, God, I can't find this.
Oh my God, he says, "Be my dog, sir. The night is alive with promise. We can howl together and wake the very gods." Literally nothing gayer.
I don't. This is all circumstantial. I don't believe any of this.
Are you not reading this book, Kyle?
This is not
Yes,
about.
I'm
We're not
reading
talking
the book,
about Sir
obviously.
Kyle here. We're talking about the Fiddler. So there's no consequences here.
I don't know about Sir Kyle, but
Be my dog, sir.
Come on.
I don't know if I believe it, guys. I read started teaching you fiddle, so I suppose it means I'll have to take the throne then. I would much rather be teaching you to fiddle.
Ha!
Drunk, I'm drunk. I don't know, guys. I don't know about this one. I'm still not convinced.
You'd be surprised what some men can miss.
And again, the Fiddler points out he dreamed it. He said, I hope you will put more faith in what I tell you when you see the dragon hatch. I dreamed it, this pale white castle, you, a dragon bursting from an egg. I dreamed it all, just as once I dreamed of my brothers lying dead. They were 12 and I was only 7, so they laughed at me and died. I'm 22 now and I trust my dreams. So they were 12, so his brothers were twins?
Yeah, Daemon's 2 oldest were twins.
Yeah, so...
Were they shot down by Bloodraven?
Yes.
Yes.
I think if we'd paid attention to that would have been a good clue as to who John the Fiddler was.
Mm. All right, guys.
Okay. And
I can't wait.
moving to the next page, they're talking about your jousting tomorrow morning, and then he says, "I had hoped to joust with good Sir Duncan here."
Oh, jeez.
They
That's the worst argument of all.
That's not the worst. He was about to joust with him, right? What kind of jousting do you think they're talking about here?
On horseback with big, long...
In the middle of the night?
staffs.
Also, I wanted to point out, what the fuck was Daemon doing bringing his 12-year-old sons into battle?
Ned with Rickons, like the kids gotta grow up sometime.
It will not be
in
three
the
forever.
meantime, Brendan Rivers and his personal guard of archers, the Raven's Teeth, had found a spot from which they could rain their arrows down upon Daemon's position. Daemon and his twin 12-year-old sons, Aemon and Aegon, were killed. Bam.
Well,
Yeah, what was he
winter
doing?
is coming, so
Yeah, where are the Blackfires going to go? Wow.
Yeah, anyway, so Kyle, please admit John the Fiddler was coming on to Dunk.
God. I don't know
anymore,
about this.
why are you
Riri.
resisting? Like, what's the point of resisting? Is there like
I don't know. I just don't feel. I just feel like he was just wooing, wooing him to his side. I don't know. I don't.
That's what we're
Wooing
saying.
him
Well,
to his
that's what we
dick,
were
Nick.
saying. He was wooing him.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I just feel like he knew that Dunk was going to be there and be his guardian in the future and everything. So he was just being maybe a little too friendly.
Well, there's a way to make a job offer without coming on to somebody.
I don't know.
John the Fiddler totally came on to him. Please recognize. And anyway, continuing on, Gorman Peak shows up, crashes the party. I love that the Fiddler calls him Gormy. And he is mean. He is mean and rude to Dunk some more.
Truth.
And says, I will promise you 3 feet of cold steel through your belly if you speak a word of what just happened. And then Dunk throws up on Peak. Which is a great response.
All right.
Oh, what a frat boy.
Total frat boy. Anyway, then Dunk meets up with Egg, which they'd been separated for a while Dunk was getting buck. And
And he tries to give him the food, and then Egg says he had ribs. And I'm like, God damn it, I want some ribs. That's what I thought when I read this.
I think it's interesting because Egg's reading at this point, and he's looking at a roll of arms because he is looking at the people who are invited to this tourney. Yeah.
This is when he figures it out.
Yes. He's like, Lord Sunderland fought for the Black Dragon, and going through the list. And he says, blah, blah, this is a traitor's tourney, sir. And Dunk has said, that's not true, because Dunk is thick as a castle wall. And said, Lord Butterwell's sons fought on both sides. That makes him half a traitor. So yeah, Egg points it out. I don't think he goes into detail about it, but he's like, these men were all traitors, and he knows certainly more about it than Dunk does. And at this point, Dunk decides he's going to enter the lists as the Gallows Knight.
Because that's his shield. Right?
Yes.
So his goal is to try to win a couple rounds or something, so he can just make some money. Basically, he doesn't expect to go all the way.
I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he can ransom a
He
couple.
only needs one win to be safe, right? If he gets one win, then he's safe. He can get his stuff back.
He is defeated in his first tilt.
Against the snail.
Yeah.
Is that Underleaf? What is that
Yeah.
guy?
Oh, by the way, can we point out Sir Kyle's tactic here?
Where?
You know what?
The
Yes.
cat who wants his bowl of cream must know when to purr.
Good God.
What did you do? Piss off George? He really hated you for that, like, spoiler of the game or whatever.
He's like,
Well,
oh, I'm going to write Kyle in as an obsequious motherfucker.
Well, you know what? If he was going to write me into this book, it would have been Sir Mike.
No, that was just his cover. He pretended not to know your name, and then he used your name.
Yeah. He's like, oh, crap, I don't want
Yeah.
Kyle to know I wrote
Sir
it.
Kyle would not be the first hedge knight to trade his honor for a warm place by the fire.
Imagine that. If I pissed him off enough that he wrote me into his
Yeah.
book, I'd be.
You should still be
God.
happy. You're in the frickin' story. Like that's not bad.
It's my dream to be written into the books as someone whose tits are bigger than our heads.
Oh my God, I'm flying to Texas.
But yeah, it's really sad. In this tourney, I thought that Dunk was going to do a better job, especially against the snail.
The snail.
That was Sir Underleaf, Uthor Underleaf.
It was actually he's actually pretty skilled, and he's just hiding it. Like he's basically gaming the system here,
Yeah.
which is interesting to see.
I liked he said Lord Butterwell's wife, she looked hot and bored and uncomfortable, but when she saw Dunk, she pushed out her chest in a way that turned him red beneath his helm.
Oh yeah.
What happened when she saw Sir Kyle?
You don't want to know.
Hey,
So Dunk takes it right between the eyes.
I thought the Fiddler wanted to do that.
Jesus.
And then he is he actually is in Underleaf's tent? Or no, he goes to Underleaf to give him his armor, and horse is forfeit.
Well, that's after he barely survives.
Yeah.
First he wakes up, Egg is gone, and everyone's surprised that he lived. Or the Maester is surprised. Who was it, Maester Malador or Maester Malachi? I got it written somewhere.
You're
Maester
right. Yeah, he barely
Mal-
survives. In fact, he was paid to try to kill him,
Yes.
or at least hit that kind of shot. I don't think. Yeah, he said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not bad though. He gets up
know.
despite that near-death blow, and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna give up my stuff."
Well, he's gotta. I mean, he's a knight true.
Yeah.
Knight true.
Oh, and by the way, he passes the dwarves on his way to the postern gate,
This is when
and
the
one of
dwarves
them
are
smells
leaving.
like a privy.
Ah.
And then, and he points out a few might have been children, but they were so short it was hard to tell.
I will remember that for the end.
Yeah. Then Sir Kyle got screwed over with his plan, unfortunately. Right?
Oh yes.
That didn't work.
Lord Caswell
Sir Kyle,
did not know me.
like Kyle, was not recognized.
He stared at me as if I'd lost my wits.
And then he called Mike and said there was no place for me.
Because Sir Kyle had supposedly made his first sword, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but I think it's kind of par for the course that like great lords don't remember like anyone, you know.
Hmm.
And then he also talks about the other people, Tom Heddle jousting, overthrowing every man he's faced. Was Tom the one that had yelled at Dunk for picking up the dragon's egg?
Tom Heddle? Or was it Peak?
I
Which
think
one was it?
Peak.
It was Heddle.
Peak was the one later who was yelling at him for
okay.
talking.
That's true.
So it was Heddle, yes.
And then
Talks to Plum, who tells him to get the hell out of there and take the boy with him.
yes.
Basically, that's Bloodraven there. Tell him that.
There we go.
Go anywhere.
So, and do we learn here how well Quentin Wall is doing? Or Quentin, what do they call him now?
Wall?
Quentin Pussy Willows?
Oh, that's right. He said Fireball's lad's done the same, though he's overthrown every man he's faced, the Fiddler as well. And he points out the Fiddler refuses to take ransoms. He only wants the dragon's egg. And
what
the
a nice guy.
foes.
Yeah, see, friendship. He wants friendship.
I like the
He's
what Maynard
friendly.
/ Bloodraven. He says the fiddle of chivalry, you mean? That boy is fiddling up a storm, and all of us would do well to be gone from here before it breaks.
I know that eggs do well stay out of frying pans.
He says that?
Yeah. White
Oh.
Walls is not a healthy place for the boy. So he knows who Egg is.
Oh. Sorry, I didn't catch that the first time.
At the least, he's in the service of Bloodraven. That's pretty much done. But the question is it Bloodraven? Because there's another part where it seems like it's his face. We'll get there. So let's keep moving on because we're running out of time.
Interesting.
Anyways.
I want to apologize. I keep calling Quentin. I keep calling the guy in the story Quentin Ball, but it's not. It's Glendon Ball
Yes.
Yeah.
or Glendon Flowers.
Anyways. Yeah.
So let's keep on trucking. So he tries to offer his or ransom, or he gives his stuff to the snail, who tells him about his plot, how he goes around from tourney to tourney, making it far and then losing and betting against himself and winning money, and how he wants Dunk to join in with him on this because Dunk's such an imposing figure and he could get good bets. Dunk refuses because he is not a true knight. So then he leaves, and what happens after he leaves?
Let's see. We hear about Glendon's mother, who was like slept with 50 guys or something, or 100 guys. That's what they're not sure about his parentage.
Yes, we learn about Jenny Penny, and how the night before the Redgrass Field, was it? Or
Yep.
she slept with Fireball and then everyone else.
But Fireball's seed was strong. So.
Yeah, damn straight.
But he does not
on
have the
fire.
red hair. Anyways. Okay.
My sex is on fire. That's not the words.
Yeah.
So,
The backstory of the ball, basically. Here we go.
the backstory of the book. Yes. That's a really cool story. And then,
And then, by the way, then Underleaf is very open about the danger to Dunk and says, he said, "Are you so blind you cannot see your danger? Do you know I struck you where I did, sir? And I was paid to strike you there. 6 dragons tendered in advance, 4 more promised when you died. A paltry sum for a knight's life."
So he has a bit of honor there. He could have killed Dunk even for that 4, but he didn't try to kill him, like through the eye.
Because price wasn't high enough
Yeah.
for him to bother.
But
And
other
he
people would
said-
have done that. Yeah.
A serving man brought the gold at sunrise, not long after the master of the games nailed up the pairings. His face was hooded, and he did not speak his master's name. So clearly something that happened overnight was enough of a reason for Dunk to be put into...
And Uther knows about him. He knows about what happened at the whole tournament in the Hedge Knight.
Mm-hmm. Prince Baylor was well loved.
Seems like a smart fellow. Do you guys think the snail knows that this is a Blackfire
Yes.
party?
He seems like the smart kind of guy that he would get that.
I feel like if he knew, he would take his business elsewhere. I feel like he doesn't want to be there. He's gonna get pinned down and be like, "All right, sir, you got to fight for us now."
No, but he's not like a major guy. He's just like
everybody there is.
He's like his own kind of Hedge Knight kind of guy, right? He's not a huge lord.
I don't know. I feel like he might. I don't know. But he does say, well, if you dance with dragons, you must expect to burn.
That was a nice reference there.
Nice reference.
Very cool.
Pre-reference, yeah. Okay.
Did Ashley fall asleep on us?
Ashley? She went to her bunk.
Oh, no, I'm still here.
I fell asleep, guys. No big deal. We're getting through this, you guys. We're doing a very thorough job.
We're doing good here, though. We're powering through.
No one can take issue with this. So Dunk is going to look for Egg. He cannot find Egg anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's like an Easter egg hunt.
Oh snap!
Well, here's the explanation of why Glendon was actually in the second read changed my view. Why was he good at jousting? Because he was always good with horses. He was always taking care of the horses, even the Dornish horses, which is important for jousting. That's why Lyanna was good at it. That's why other people are good at it. So that's the explanation, that he was good with horses.
There you go. You answered your own question.
Yeah. And I didn't get that the first read, but I'm seeing that I circled this here, the second read. Okay.
Very cool.
And then Dunk suggests that he goes with them to go north at Winterfell. Thinking nobody will laugh at you up there. No one will know your backstory. Backstory of whores. Glendon and his awkward, his socially stunted behavior. He turns him down, then he says, Sir Duncan, wait, I shouldn't have been so sharp. A knight must needs be courteous, my mother used to say. And then he had said, Lord Peake came to see me after my last joust. He offered me a place at Starpike. He said there was a storm coming, the likes of which Westeros had not seen for a generation, that he would need swords and men to wield them, loyal men who knew how to obey. And then he reveals that Peake basically brought him for a price that he wanted to be paired against the Fiddler, and that Glendon would have to lose.
That ain't happening.
No.
And he said, then Ball was like, maybe not.
Not so much, guys.
I got that pride, and Peake said, watch your back. The Fiddler has many friends, and you have none. Aww. And Dunk's like, sup, we bros.
Sup, we bros. Wait, did we skip something?
And then the next part, Dunk gets to see Tom Heddle, Sir Butterwell's good son, I guess, who was the dude that yelled at him for picking up the egg. And that's right. He says, Heddle was the knight who growled at him in the bedchamber when he touched the dragon's egg. The man with the deep voice he'd heard talking with Lord Peake. And he's the one who was questioning Peake's plan. Is the boy his father's son?
Yes. So it was Heddle and Peake chatting.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then and then let's see what happens. The snail.
The snail's basically gaming the system still.
Still gaming the system.
Yeah.
And the Fiddler comes up to scam on Dunk some more.
See, Fireball's bastard knocked his friend onto that plump little rump of his.
Plump little rump. Rumpelstiltskin. Inside the furniture.
What maid would marry you, Sir John said.
Oh, I also like this. I shall demand your arms and armor back. You're just here as well, though you deserve a better mount. Me.
Oh,
He's offering him a cup of wine, some bread, and olives.
that's Mimi's special page.
Yeah.
Me? Oh my god. He just wants his Kingsguard lord to
And Dunk says, he realizes, he said, you're no hedge knight. I mean, Fiddler's been saying stuff like, I could ask my men to look for him. And the Fiddler says, I'm not a hedge knight. You've been calling me my lord since we've met on the road.
His smile was full of boyish charm.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where Dunk really figures it out, huh?
Mm-hmm. The Fiddler says, wine makes me talk too much, but I meant every word. We belong together, you and I. My dreams do not lie. Dunk says, your dreams don't lie, but you do. John is not your true name, is it? And he says he's got Egg's eyes. So right there, bam, Targaryen.
Bam. Blackfire.
Yeah.
And at this point, Gorman Peake comes up to him and says, someone has been talking. I have a dozen men outside. I should have them slit your throat. And the reason he doesn't is that his grace would take it ill. And Dunk is like, oh, fuck. His grace. Another Blackfire rebellion.
Yeah.
This
Fuck.
just doesn't make. I mean, these people are all idiots. Bittersteel sends the Fiddler here over. He's like, yeah, go do this thing. He doesn't even give him the Blackfire. He doesn't give him the sword. Has no faith in this guy, and expects him to rally all these troops.
I think he just wanted to get rid of him.
Well,
You think so?
He thought that he might get killed too, and that's interesting. They don't actually kill him in the end. They keep him as a hostage,
Which is genius.
Yeah, to block the line of succession. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this whole area is really interesting because they're talking about how the Great Sickness killed a lot of the hostages, which is allowing this to happen.
Mhm.
They already lost the hostages anyways to the sickness.
Yeah, our hands are no longer tied.
Exactly.
Eris is a
God,
bookish
the
man.
Blackfire stuff so
Baylor Breakspear's gone. Makar just being butthurt over at Summerhall. And he's got problems with the king in the hand anyway, so they were like, this is our time.
And Sir Dunk has brought his favorite son into the hands of his enemies. He's like, oh shit.
Oh, yeah. Way to go, Dunk.
No.
And then Peak said, do not attempt to leave the castle. If you do, I'll take it as proof of treachery and you'll answer with your life. It's a good point. He's already told him the plot, so can't let him go now.
Yes.
So we're talking about Tom Heddle and Sir Uthor Underleaf. Oh, the snail got fucked. This was not the match he'd paid for.
Yeah. Well, he's just a small person. He doesn't have the power here.
And they realize they see him as a threat. They
Yes.
don't know that he doesn't mean to win, so he's not in on this. And they see him as a threat, so they're going to have Black Tom remove him from the Fiddler's path.
The snail seems like a very capable joust, though.
I would have liked to see that. I was actually looking forward to that. I was like, okay, let's see this happen. And then it's like, an egg stolen.
So then the egg gets stolen.
The egg gets stolen.
And-
All shit breaks loose.
And I
At
was
this
like-
point, I was so confused.
So an egg gets taken. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, what? So
The egg was stolen. The guards outside the bedchamber were killed, and one named as killer before he died, which Dunk for a second thought it was going to be him, and they point out Glendon Ball.
yes. So wait, who's orchestrating this? Is it Peak or is it Heddle or Cockshaw? What's going on here? Which one?
Well, Tom Heddle is like beating up Ball right now. He's doing that. They seem to be working together. Heddle and Peak.
Okay.
Well,
So they orchestrated. They killed a couple innocent people, right? Because the true thief did not kill anyone. So they just found the dragon egg missing, slaughtered a couple people, and then put a fake egg into Glennon Ball's bag. It's kind of weird that they aren't more concerned about the actual missing egg.
Well, they're searching his saddlebags, and Dunk already was like, okay, they couldn't allow him to win the egg, so he knows exactly why he's being blamed. And Alan Cockshaw tells him he knows where to find Egg because the whole time Egg's been missing. Not the dragon's egg, but the boy egg.
And Dunk's like, have you done Egg any harm? And he says, boys are not to my taste. Well, why did that even come up to his mind?
Sir Lord Alan trying to clarify he's not a pedophile?
No, he's only into adult. So.
Oh, jeez.
No, that's true. Alan's always trying to chase after John the Fiddler.
What?
Yeah, that was the jilted lover of the Fiddler. It was Alan. He's thinking, no, it's
For once, it means not crazy, Kyle. I mean, I'm here. I
It could
totally
be
get it.
taken. He could just be like, "Boys are my taste," because I like chicks. Like what? It doesn't have to.
Why
be.
did that even come to mind though? When he thought about Egg, why would that even be on his mind?
So
Anyways, moving on,
Alan says, I've seen Egg, and he takes him over to a well, and then he basically takes him over to the well and then puts the knife on his back.
And then Dunk throws Walder Frey down the well. Okay, no wait.
No.
And then he said, and then Dunk says, my lord, is this about the dragon's egg? And Sir Alan says, no, this is about the dragon. Did you think I would stand by and let you steal him from me and my dick is basically what he means.
Him, Dunk, thought this plump, pasty-faced, perfumed lordling is my secret enemy.
Oh, yeah, he was the one who paid the snail to kill him. Not because he was a threat to the tourney, but because he was a threat to his crush. And he said, I never did you any harm. And Alan said, and never will. Daemon's mine. Come on, Kyle. Get on board here.
Yeah, my king, and I'm going to be his Lord Commander.
Yeah, the perfect situation to keep it going on.
I'm here. I'm the one protecting him. And all of a sudden, some random head knight comes along, and he goes, "Oh, I have a dream. You're going to be my." No, fuck you. That's my job. You're not taking my king.
This is not about a job. This is about strong love. No, he loves
Kyle,
him.
stop resisting
No.
here.
He
Just
loves
embrace.
him. You guys, please tell Kyle how wrong he is.
Yeah.
So
you guys with
this time that Damon's name has been dropped.
Damon.
The name rang in Dunk's head, not John, Damon after his father. Damon Blackfire sired 7 sons. 2 died upon the red grass field, the twins, Aegon and Aemon. And apparently they were bullies, witless bullies.
Yeah.
At 12.
And Alan says, I wept when Bittersteel carried him off to exile, and again when Lord Peake told me he was coming home. But then he saw you on the road and forgot that I existed. Alan Cockshaw, so prone to tears because of his love.
For his king.
Those feathers on his shield did not
Yeah.
lie.
He's a feather.
And so Dunk was like, ain't nobody got time for this, and he threw Alan into the
He
well.
sees Cockshaw by the way.
I wanted me to say Cockshaw one more time with emphasis, so I know exactly what he's talking about.
So he throws him down the well.
Yeah.
And then Maynard Plum shows up.
Yeah.
And
Read this
here,
out. Yeah, read this out.
Dunk's world, through the rain, all he could make out was a hooded shape and a single pale white eye. It was only when the man came forward that the shadowed face beneath the cowl took on the familiar features of Sir Maynard Plum, the pale eye no more than the moonstone brooch that pinned his cloak at the shoulder.
That's the main evidence for that.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Cockshaw.
Thank
I
you.
hate you, Amin.
I like the way that Maynard Plum talks about Daemon. He already knew. He said he's Daemon of House Blackfire, the second of his name, or so he would style himself. You'd be surprised to know how many lords prefer their kings brave and stupid. Daemon is young and dashing and looks good on a horse. So,
It's the wrong combination.
so anyway, this close there was something queer about the cast of Sir Maynard's features. The longer Dunk looked, the less he seemed to see. Bam, face changing.
Or he's just losing too much blood.
And he
turns out-
just talks like Bloodraven. He basically Bloodraven would know all about this stuff, not just like Maynard Plum wouldn't. So that's the thing.
So Bloodraven, Maynard Plum, says that Egg went and showed his ring, his Targaryen ring, to Maester Lothar, who delivered him to Butterwell, who apparently shat himself because
Because he's
the Targaryens know about this. And then Maynard says, I'm a friend, one who's been watching you and wondering at your presence in this nest of adders. Now play it.
Go.
He's basically telling him that Glendon's being set up as well, and
So he knows everything.
yeah.
Yes. Maynard knows that Butterwell has doubts about the plot and more doubts when he found out the boy didn't have the sword. And then this morning his dragon egg was gone. And so he is totally regretting this whole thing.
God, he's such a coward.
And he bandages Dunk up and tells him to go to the sept.
There you go.
And Egg is basically playing a bluff here, but very well. He's bluffing his way.
Yeah.
Roll
Oh,
this.
and by the way, Dunk does this awesome thing when he goes to Sir Arthur Underleaf's pavilion for his partner and said he wants a sword and shield. Have you ransom? No. Then why would I let you take your arms? I have need of them. That's no good reason. How about try to stop me and I'll kill you? Dunk should have
Awesome.
used that scare tactic a lot more.
There you go.
So he gets spins. He goes to the sept, and Butterwell has Egg there.
Dun dun dun.
So Egg is bluffing his way. He's basically got Butterwell under his finger here.
Yeah. I mean, what is Egg's plan?
Well, it's basically like when you're stuck with a bad hand or a bad situation, attack rather than allowing him to think or say like I'm here on purpose and an army is coming. Like you just scare him with authority rather than let him think, oh, this could be a hostage.
So Aegon told Butterwell that that Bloodraven knew what was going on and that an army was on its way.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just saying it for our listeners who haven't
So-
recently read Mystery
Yeah,
Night.
for sure.
So Butterwell is like, fuck, I'm retracting really hard right now. Tom Heddle, this was all his fault. He talked me into it. Just backtracking really hard right now.
Oh, and the phrase left, I think. The phrase have left now, or they're about to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am going to clout you in the ear so hard your head will turn around backwards and you'll spend the rest of your life looking at where you've been.
That's awesome. So that's going on. Egg has them scared, and then who enters? But who is it? Black Tom.
Metal, yeah.
Yes, Black Tom Heddle comes in with his men, and him and
And he
Dunk
tries
get-
to take the egg as hostage. And Butterwell's like, nope, fuck this. I don't want to fight. I don't want to do anything. Please let me hang out here. And Black Tom
Yeah.
says, you will fight or die, my lord. And His
love how
guards
they-
have no idea who to obey, Butterwell or Black Tom.
I love how they totally underestimate him because he was such a terrible jouster.
Hmm.
And he's like, but I'm better with a sword. He's like, yeah, whatever.
And he's
And then he-
I swear Dunk has said that before.
Yeah, I think so too. And then they proceed to fight, and Dunk proceeds to chop off his arm.
Jesus.
I told
And
you.
repeats, I told you. Dunk stabbed him through the throat. I'm better with the sword.
Beneath the stranger's altar was where his arm fell. Played.
So that's badass.
Yeah.
Go Dunk. That's pretty amazing.
So Dunk tells Egg go with Lord Butterwell and just don't stay with him any longer than
Get
you
the hell
need
out of
to.
there because they don't expect an army to be coming. Like that's just all bluff, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
get the hell out of there.
So Butterwell's like, I'm gonna get out of here. We don't want to be here when the shit hits the fan. Dunk tells him to go with him, but then to separate because he's worried that Butterwell will change his allegiance halfway away from the castle. And
So then Dunk runs out and he goes to the hall. He goes back to the hall, and amidst all this shit, as the shit's hitting the fan and everything, George stops to describe Sir Kyle's brown.
What is he doing?
Kyle has been drinking.
I laughed so hard. It's like this is like everything's going. It's at that moment where everything's going crazy. It's not going to happen, and then there's a whole paragraph in the middle about a bowl of brown and how it looks and how the food is and how there's some grease on top of it.
Yeah. Sir Carl had no stomach for it.
I cracked up when I got to that part. It's like, oh, George.
So
think I
then
rolled my
Dunk completely fucking did not expect this, goes into the hall full of dudes and says, Your Grace, Daemon, like calls him out
Yep.
and calls for justice for Glendon Ball.
And Sir Kyle has a good line here. He stands up in support. So there we go. Sir Kyle the cat.
There we go.
Yeah.
He's got to do something. Everything else is failing.
Every cat has his day. So.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
Oh, he calls the bluff on the stone. He's like, it's a fake egg. It's a stone.
He says,
Oh, yes.
I wager it's no more than a painted stone. And everyone flips the fuck out. And Daemon is genuinely confused. He's just here to look pretty and win an egg. And he has no idea, like, the scheming that's going on to, like, promote him.
Yeah, he's such a puppet, Blackfire.
Yeah. And he said, if Ball did no wrong, as you insisted, why would his lordship say he did and try to prove it with some painted rock?
He goes, wake
And
up,
Dunk
you
said,
idiot.
To remove him from your path, his lordship brought your other foes with golden promises, but Ball was not the ball. Ball was not for sale.
And Damon's like, what are you talking about? I'm the best jouster there is. Bring that guy up here.
And Gorman said, hey, he's being questioned. Give us a couple of hours to remove all of his organs and we'll have a confession for you. And Dunk said a few more hours, the Sir Glendon Ball will confess to having killed your grace's father and both your brothers too. And Dunk is so ballsy right now. Lord Peake's like, one more word, I'll rip your tongue out. And Dunk said, you lie. That's 2 words. Fool.
Dunk just steps it up. I love it. He's like in the zone.
Such
man.
an alpha right now. I'm
Yeah.
so
The whole
into
beginning of the story, he's like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm a good knight. I don't know." And now he's just like, "Fuck this shit. Here we are. Let's do
Here's
this."
the thing. Dunk is a total omega until Egg is threatened, and then he's like alpha Dunk. He wargs into alpha Dunk. It's really crazy. Like whenever Egg's being threatened, then he like mans the fuck up, you know? So then Daemon goes, I want the truth of this, and I will meet him in the list and let the gods determine guilt and innocence. Oh shit. They did a number on Ball. They fucked him up bad.
Yeah.
They bring Ball up, and he looks like the bard. It was the bard that got messed up.
Yeah. Thankfully, not as bad as that yet. Otherwise, he wouldn't. But he's heading that way.
The blue
Not the
bard
confession.
is who you mean,
Yeah.
Kyle.
The blue bard, yeah. Well, he got messed up, and eventually, and the fiddler says, "Oh, fuck this, we're gonna, like you said, you're gonna battle." And then I like the part where Dunk's like helping him get ready and everything, and he's like, "Can you hold a lance?" And he's like, "Do I even have my fingers?" He doesn't even know what's going on.
It's not
10
'cause-
fingers, 7 fingernails.
Yeah.
I like what Glendon Ball says, though. He said, they told me he's the Black Dragon. My father died for him. I would have been his man, and gladly. I would have fought for him, killed for him, died for him, but I could not lose for him. Like, that strong
most of the
knighthood
part,
right now.
Sir Kyle, get the wineskin.
Sir Kyle, I think you're good for.
Yes, master.
So there's a big show of it and this whole thing. The Fiddler gets a war lance. Sir Glendon, they get ready and it's
Dunk loves
this
those war
big,
lances.
intense
War
build-up.
lances.
Hmm?
Oh no, I mean sorry, not tourney lances. Dunk goes
That's
with the
his
tourney
tactic.
lance. Yeah, that's like his invention. Yeah.
So anyway, it's like this big build-up and then it's like you heard Lord Pete cry out in anguish. No.
He falls in the mud and it's like the brown dragon. Someone shouted.
Man, that's so embarrassing. And just like right after that anticlimactic Daemon getting knocked off his horse and everyone laughing at him, an army appears outside the castle immediately. So apparently, from Maidenpool had come Lord Mooton, from Raventree Lord Blackwood, and from Duskendale Lord Darkland.
Lord Black.
So the King's Landing sent Hayfords, Rosby, Stokeworths, Masseys, the King's own sworn swords, led by 3 knights of the King's Guard, 300 Raven's Teeth. A Mad Danielle Lothston. I don't know who that is, but she sounds hot.
She's one of the female leaders of Harrenhal. I think it was mentioned before.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, a whole mess of people coming to
an actual army showing up, which was unexpected.
An actual army.
Somebody tipped them off.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, the banner showed the dragons. A single white dragon announced the presence of Lord Brendan Rivers. The first Blackfire Rebellion had perished on the red grass field in blood and glory. The second Blackfire Rebellion ended with a whimper.
Yep.
Poor Daemon was like, we'll slash through them and ride hellbent for King's Landing. There's like 3 of you. Instead, everyone tried to leave, and when Daemon drew his sword, everyone realized it was in Blackfire. And then someone said, "Piss on that, fiddle boy," at him, which makes me really sad for Daemon. He rode forth alone and challenged Bloodraven to single combat, and instead they arrested him.
And some guy's like, I was Bloodraven's spy, and then they kill him. He's too stupid to keep it secret.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They looked for Sir Maynard Plum, but he'd melted away, so Plum is gone. Because he's somebody.
Oh, he's gone. Okay. Well, yeah, that could be the spy, or he could be Bloodraven. Yeah. Sure. Or he could have turned into a cloud of vapor.
And then the end of this really happens when Dunk is being summoned to speak to Brendan Rivers, Raven, and he meets him this is the first time he's met him, first time he's spoken to him. I know Dunk had seen him before.
I think he's talked to them before, right? When
I don't think he's ever talked to him. I mean, unless you count Maynard Plum, but I think he's seen him before.
Okay, I thought they had been somewhere. Not in the books, but outside the books, or in between the books.
He had before because he said he was older than Dunk remembered him.
Yeah, so I think it was after Hedge Knight, like when Egg became his squire or whatnot. I think Bloodraven was around said parts somewhere.
Yeah.
So he does some battlefield justice, and he's going to destroy that castle. You won't even hear about it later on.
Yeah, that's intense. And nobody ever mentions it, right?
Yeah, no one does. I don't think there's a mention of it. Or maybe
in the book
they walk through it.
Brilliant.
Maybe Arya walks through the ruins or something. Probably. That's probably.
There shouldn't even be any ruins.
Ruins. It's just salted earth.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
So maybe somebody walks through a patch of, a large patch of dead.
Nothingness.
And, Dunk explains to Bloodraven that they sort of blundered into it. Egg said they had matters well in hand before they took Bloodraven up with the army.
It's really good, conversation here. So
yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
And Egg really kind of comes into his own here. And they say, and this is what Daemon saw in his dream, right? The birth of a dragon. They're talking about Egg here, becoming stepping up. And all right.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually wanted to quote that exact thing. He said, Daemon dreamed that a dragon would be born at White Walls, and it was. The fool just got the color wrong. And he said he saw a dragon bursting forth from an egg in his dream. So again, this is not the first time, obviously, that there has been a the dreams have been misconstrued. The Targaryen dreams have been misconstrued because the first time Daeron the Drunk thinks, that the dragon is supposed to be representative of a Targaryen, the dead dragon in his dreams. He's worried that it's himself, and it turns out to be Baelor Breakspear. But here, Daemon Blackfire has the dream that the dragon is bursting forth from the egg, and again, it's not an actual dragon. It is representative of a Targaryen. In this case, it's Egg.
Interesting.
And it's an interesting conversation because we don't, as readers, we're not supposed to like Bloodraven. He's scary. And, vapor. And unfortunately, it's interesting because he is technically on Egg's side. So there's this interesting dynamic between them. And Bloodraven points out that Daemon would probably be kept hostage. If he's dead, he's a hero. Alive, he's an obstacle in Bittersteel's path, right?
Yep.
Yes.
He can hardly make a third Blackfire king while the second remains so inconveniently alive. And
What an awful life he must have.
seriously. And finally,
Well,
Egg asks,
Daemon might be fine. He'll just be kept. Like, he'll probably be kept. Well, he won't be like in a prison cell. He'll probably just be kept with all like the blood oranges and fiddlers he wants.
Alan Cockshaw all day,
Yeah.
every day.
I don't know about that.
And then Egg asks who took the dragon's egg. There were guards at the door and more guards on the step. And Lord Rivers said, were I to guess, I'd say someone climbed up inside the privy shaft.
And guess who that someone was?
1,000 eyes in one. Why shouldn't some of them belong to a troop of comic dwarves? That was a great way to end the short story.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those dwarves were working for Bloodraven, right?
Yes.
So Bloodraven has another egg now? Like, where all these eggs go?
Yeah. Well, he probably won't keep it for himself. He'll give it to the king or whatever. But that was just to cause trouble. That's why they stole the egg.
Maybe that's the egg that's going to hatch. Maybe he's going to hatch it in the woods.
So, yes, the dwarves belong to Bloodraven. Maynard Plum was probably Bloodraven. And Sir Kyle is stupid.
He's not stupid.
Sir Kyle is listed as one of the good men on their side. So
yeah.
At the end, they're like Sir Kyle and this other guy.
Oh, look at that. He kissed the right ass at the right time.
I want to read the further adventures of Sir Kyle the cat.
Sir Kyle the cat. Sir Glendon Ball was a hero, according to Egg. And Sir Daemon John the Fiddler was definitely ultra gay. From to Alan Cockshaw, also
I
ultra
can't wait to hear the listeners on this one. But
listeners, please confirm that intense gay love story so that Kyle is not completely oblivious.
I mean, I'm not. You have some strong arguments, but I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know.
Just ease
I
yourself
think it's
into
more
it. Kyle.
blatant than Renly at this point.
It is at this point. It is, yeah. Well, no, Renly had a couple of pretty blatant lines too. But
Yeah.
this is one short
blatant
story
when
that
he
had
was
all of them
alive.
there in one short story, whereas that was split across books. But
Good run, guys.
Yeah, that was
We
a good
did
run,
not
yeah.
get to go into my essay as much as I would have liked, but again, I talk about all of this and spend a good amount of time on Summer Hall as well. So
I think we should do your essay some other time, plus maybe feedback of the show, because there's things that we've missed, like a shorter little episode.
yeah, not until going through this and spending 2 hours on
Yeah.
recording did I realize how massive it is.
Yeah.
And all of it was almost all of it was on topic. So I'm really impressed right now at the amount of stuff there is to go through in Mystery Night. I mean, every time I go through it, I learn something else. And again, that Maynard Plum thing didn't really pick up on that. There were obviously a lot of clues in the narrative. So
And there was a lot of feedback and questions that we got that we'll just have to do in a subsequent episode. There's no point in trying to jam it in 5 minutes here.
sure,
Right?
no more jamming it in.
Yeah, we had enough of that jamming it in.
Spice and fire.
God, I hate you, Amin.
Okay,
Yeah,
write the stories of Sir Kyle. How about that? We asked people to write the future stories of Sir Kyle or
Sir
pictures.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, pictures.
He dies of a pox. In the,
Yeah, obviously gonna die of a pox,
What the fuck?
just like the real Kyle.
Oh,
He's just like
Anyway.
Inara or whatever it was. Like he's got a terminal. Okay.
Solid episode, guys.
Yeah,
Listeners, please let us know what Mystery Night. If we missed something, we obviously did. If we got something wrong, if you wanted to tell us that was definitely not the end at the crossroads. If you want to tell Kyle how wrong he is, please, forums, Twitter, Facebook, you know how to get in touch with us. And we'll probably do a follow-up because there's a lot more to touch on in this Mystery Night episode. We talked about it for years, since 2010, so probably almost years now. We've talked about doing a Mystery Night episode, and we finally did one, so hopefully...
Yep, and if you want to help me get my revenge on Amin, just email me at kyle@podcastsliceoffire.com.
And most of what Mimi is the one who dubbed you as like the gay cat or whatever. Like
I didn't
hate-
say he was gay. I said he was obsequious.
Well, listen to the episode. It's all there, so the evidence is there.
I'm never going to listen to this episode. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you
That was
guys so
fast.
much for
Yeah.
listening. And
See you
yeah,
next
as
time.
usual, see you on the forums. Bye. Oh, we've almost got this, you
Hey,
guys.
is everything working now? Everyone? Good.
Yes.
So you have the board game.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes, I got the board game for Valentine's, so
Cool.
That was cool.
Nothing says I love you like a playing Game of Thrones where you kill everyone.
Yeah, it was well targeted. Although I've never played any board games before, so we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll just
Didn't you do like
be
a
really.
Pokemon training game or something?
Oh well, yeah, I had that Pokemon game, but nobody would play with me, so
But you have all these new friends, Mimi, so it's perfect board game.
nobody who wants to play board games with me. So
Bullshit.
But once you get used to it, you also have the variant that you were sent with the cards. So you have the two different starting conditions you can try out.
oh really?
Yeah, like those cards that were sent to you are like an alternate, but you should just play with the base game first. Get used to it.
I'm so excited. There's like 1,000 pieces and like 50 choking hazards in this game. Like, really excited.
Don't put it in your mouth.
But okay, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and just do like just a kind of a walkthrough of the events in Mystery Night, and I mean, I think we can probably fairly easily just tie my essay into it instead of doing it separately.
Sure, but at the end we might make some general comments on it or something if there's time. We'll see how it goes. Like I don't even remember that much. Like I have it here and I have notes written on it, but I don't remember anything. So
My essay or the Mystery Night, because I haven't read the Mystery Night in a while since I've done my essay.
yeah, but you covered all three. You were talking about all three Duncan Egg stories.
Yes.
Guys, we're screwed. Tower of the Hand has no summary for the mystery.
Does it? I was looking
wiki.
at there's a wiki. There's the wiki summary. That's long.
Wiki.
A Wiki of Ice and Fire?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're sponsored by Tower of the Hand.
Well, we got it from Tower of the Hand. No one needs to know.
Except for the people at Tower of the Hand. Mystery Night Wiki. Bam. Bam.
God damn this quality.
Yeah.
I know the audio quality is getting choppy again a little bit.
Do you close? I've closed everything except for this. Do you have anything else open or?
Oh, let me close Lightroom. It's a resource hog.
I think it's still working. Is there something wrong?
It's just choppy.
Yeah.
Well, maybe somebody else should host the call. Do you think that helps? Does that help?
I'm hosting the call.
Oh, you did?
And that
Okay.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. It sounds fine to me, but I can.
Okay. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, let's.
We can still talk so far, so we'll see if it gets worse. We can restart it.
It got a little choppy there, and he said, "We can still." I was like, "Whoa, Amin."
Okay, well let me try.
No, it's good. It's good. Let's go. Let's do
It's
this.
good.
Good. Okay, I was gonna say I'll try
It's
resetting my
good. Okay.
internet. Okay.
Which episode number is this?
I think we should record it as 100.
It's either 99 or 100.
I
It's
know, but
99.
we should record it as 100 and then see what happens. You can always we'll have to re-record the intro probably anyways for the date. So doesn't
So
matter.
should we do 99 and 100, and then we can decide after we do this and see how amazing?
Yeah.
Or
Do you want to do it that way, or we can just send me a file, put it in, whatever.
Wait, but if we release this as episode 100, we're gonna have to have a lot of fanfare about episode 100. You know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, we're gonna do it as 99. Doesn't matter. Like
Okay, it's good to me. 99.
then we can
Let's do
save that read for 100.
We can do some hardcore planning for 100 stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, week of the 17th. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been so long. Okay.